everyone, it's Ken with Ken's Creations. Well, I wanted to show you today how you can make a decorative block using any of your favorite characters, but I'm going to be using a set from Scrappy-Doo's Let It Go set, which is based on the movie Frozen. And I have a really cute saying that I'm going to be putting on the glass block that says, "Sometimes being a sister is better than being a princess." So, for this project, we're going to need some supplies. You're going to need to go to Hobby Lobby and get a decorative block. I'm also using the Rust-Oleum frosted glass. I have a glass block stand. I'm also using some lights to light up the block, so I just got that at a local Ace hardware store and they were like $2 a box for 20 mini lights. And then I'm going to be using the Square One adhesive fabric for my characters. So the first thing we need to do is we need to go ahead and take our frosted glass spray and go ahead and spray both sides of the decorative block. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Make sure you're in a well ventilated area. And let's go ahead and spray that block, and then we'll let it give some good time to dry. And then we'll go ahead and get our design going. According to the instructions, we want to let our block dry for about 10 to 15 minutes. However, I really recommend letting it dry for about an hour, and the reason why is we're going to be using vinyl and transfer tape, and we don't want to accidentally take some of that frost off the glass. One of the things I forgot to mention in the beginning of the video when I was going over supplies is the fact that we're going to need 2 different colors of traditional vinyl to match Anna and Elsa's dress. That's what our sentiment's going to be cut on. So make sure you have that as well. The first thing we need to do before we go into our designs is we do need to download a couple things before starting up our Silhouette Studio software. The first thing is we want to go to shop.scrappydoo.com, and in the search we want to look up Let It Go, which is their Frozen file. And there it is right there. Now this is a really cute file, but the only files we're going to be using for this project is Anna, Elsa, and this snowflake right here. So it's a really cute set, but those are the only pieces we're going to be using for this project. So you want to go ahead and add that to your cart and purchase it. Make sure you're following Scrappy-Doo on Facebook, or make sure you are subscribed to their newsletter, because they're always going to tell you the current sales that are going on the website. Currently, as of April 13th, 2014, the sale is 70% off. That's 70% off a $30 order. So a pretty good sale. You just have to make sure $30 is in your cart and you'll receive 70% off the entire purchase, no coupon required. And they always have deals going on. So if you missed out on this one, make sure to check out their deals. The other thing we want to download is a font for sentiment. Now I usually use defont.com, and the one I really liked is Granuli. And it is right here. So you're going to want to go ahead and hit this download link. Once it downloads, you're going to want to double click on the download and install font. You're going to want to do this before you launch your Silhouette Studio software, because you want it to load when the software loads up on your computer. Once you've done that, you want to go ahead and open your Silhouette Studio software. Now I've downloaded the new version 3.0, and it is a little different than the Legacy. So there's a couple things we have to do differently in order to make this project work. The first thing we want to go ahead and do is import in our Frozen files, and the first one we're going to work with is Anna. There she is. So the great thing about Scrappy-Doo files is they come with all of your pieces broken down for you. They also come with a completed doll set. For this project, I'm doing a print and cut on the Square One masterpiece. So I'm going to use a completed doll because all the work's done for me. Why wouldn't I? So I'm going to go ahead and ungroup this. I'm going to move the doll out of the way. And then I'm going to get rid of everything else. Now I'm going to bring this doll back in here. And I want her to be about 4 inches tall. So I'm going to select her, go to my scale window, and then I'm going to go ahead and make her 4 inches tall. And I want to make sure that locked aspect ratio is on right here, so that way we know it's going to keep the ratio. I'm going to hit apply. Thought I was going to hit apply. Let's try that again. And there you go. She is nice and tall now. Now, what I want to do is I want to go ahead and give this character a little more definition. And how I'm going to do that is I'm going to come up to the line feature. And I'm going to pick black. And it's just going to outline everything in black. However, this is where a little bit of manipulation comes on in the new software. Reason being, if I was to go to my cut feature, it's now designed to cut by color or layer. So if I was to hit color, it's going to cut all the black lines where you see black. I don't want that because obviously it's going to cut all my pieces. So if I go to auto weld, which is in the advanced feature, it's going to go ahead and weld all the pieces so it just cuts on the outside. Now, the problem with this file, as you can see, is it is thinking it needs to cut out her eyelashes and her smile, which I don't want to do. So the solution for this file is we're going to go ahead and get out of our cut settings, and we're going to come to the offset feature, which is this now up here. We're going to select Anna, and we're going to hit offset. Down in the distance, we're going to go ahead and put our cursor in there, and we're going to go 0, 1, so 0.01, and hit apply. Oops, let me do that again. Sorry, guys. So we're going to do offset, and we're going to go ahead and do 0.01, and then hit apply. Now, if I move Anna, you're going to see that one behind it. So now what if we go to cut settings? Well, first of all, this offset, I want to change the line color to just the stage under this black. And the reason why is now we have two different blacks. So when I go to my cut setting, I can say don't cut this black, which is the one it's checkmarked, see? And now it's not going to cut Anna, but do cut the other black. So now I can actually go in, move Anna back to where I need her to be, draw a box around her, and I'm just going to go ahead and make sure she's centered by going to the line, and we're just going to hit center. And now when I go to my cut settings, you can see it's just cutting around Anna, not her eyelashes. Alright, so Anna is done, so we can go ahead and group her by right-clicking and grouping. And let's go ahead and move her out of the way because she's all done. The next thing we need to do is Elsa, so let's double-click Elsa, bring her into my program here. We're going to go ahead and ungroup her, move the doll out of the way, get rid of everything else, bring the doll back onto the mat. I want her to also be 4 inches, so I'm going to come up to my scale window. I'm going to put my cursor in there, put 4.00, click outside of that box, make sure that locked aspect ratio is on. And then hit apply. And there she gets bigger. Once again, I'm going to come up here to my line color. I'm going to change it to black, and it's going to outline everything for her. Next thing, I'm going to go to this offset. I'm going to select offset. And then I'm going to come down in here, put my cursor, hit 0, 1, and apply. And once again, that's going to go ahead and be on the outside there. So when I go to my cut settings, once again, we want to change this line color, which is the one behind it, to that other gray. So the step right below black here. So there's this black and then this black. We want it to be that black. And then draw a box around it. We're going to go ahead and come up to my line and hit center. Brings her in line. And draw a box around her, and we're going to go ahead and group her. Now when I go to my cut settings, it's just cutting where I want them to be cut. Okay? I know it's a little bit different than we did in Legacy version, but if not, I couldn't find any other way to just cut around them without cutting their eyelashes and smiles. So if you have a different way, please let me know, because this is a little clunky from what we're used to. But like anything in life, we find a way around it. So the next thing we need to do is set up my page, because this is going to be a print and cut. So we're going to go to page settings. Down here on this down arrow, we're going to go ahead and pick letter, which is 8.5 by 11. Then we're going to come up to the registration marks, and we're going to go ahead and hit type 1. I'm going to move my paper dolls onto my paper here, and then I'm going to come up to print. And now when I do print, you want to change your median quality to photo paper and best. This is the recommendations by Square One Masterpiece that you use. So make sure you're using photo paper and best quality, and then go ahead and print this. Once we've printed it, we are able to put it on our mat, and now we can go ahead and send it to the silhouette. We want to go into our cut settings, and we want to make sure we change it to vinyl, which is then going to bring up that you want to change your blade to a number 2, and then I wanted to change my speed all the way down to a 1. And the reason why is obviously it's cutting out these little tiny pieces on Anna, and I want to make sure it does a really nice job. So go ahead and cut your 2 paper dolls, and once that's done, we can go ahead and work on the sentiment. Alright, now our paper dolls are done. What we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and get our project kind of an idea of where we're placing the paper dolls. So if you come up here to this box feature, you're going to go ahead and draw a box. Doesn't matter what size. And then you're going to select this box, and you're going to change the width and height. So we want to make sure the locked aspect is off in this case to 8 inches, because that's how big my block is. And then we're going to hit apply. And then we can move our paper dolls where we want to within the box. So this way it gives us an idea of what our block will look like. And the reason we're doing this is we're going to do the font, and we're going to be putting our font in this block, so we want to see how big we want to make our font. So on our font, we're going to come up here to the A, and over here to the A, and we want to look for that font we just downloaded, which is Granule or Granuli. So it's right there. And then the sentiment is going to say, sometimes being a sister is better than being a princess. So our first word is sometimes. So we're just going to go ahead and move that up here. Our next word is being a. Once again, just move it out of the way. The next part is sister. And this part is even better than being. And the last one is a princess. All right. Now all we're going to do is move these letters wherever we want. So I wanted sisters in between them. And I'm going to go and select that and kind of mess around with the size here until I get something I like, which is right about there. The sometimes is going to go up here. So once again, I'm just going to move it, you guys, and I'm just playing around with the sizes until I find the look I like. The being a is going right here, and we're going to be putting a snowflake off to the side. So we're just going to leave that the same size, and as even better, we're going to have to shrink down to get into my block. And then the A princess, I'm going to make bigger because that's So now what I can do is I can kind of zoom in on this and get an idea of where we want to place all of our lettering. So the first thing I want to do is I want to change the color that is to give me an idea of what the color is going to look like. So my vinyl matches her red or I guess that's a pink/purple. So I'm going to come over here to this eyedropper and I'm going to select that color. And that's for Sometimes, Sister, and a Princess. And for the other ones, I'm going to go ahead and use that eyedropper and select this blue in Elsa's dress. There we go. And that gives you an idea of what your block's going to look like, and it also gives you an idea how big to make your lettering so that way it fits. The last thing we need to do is we need to get that snowflake. So we're going to go back to our file. We're going to go to this one here that says SD Frozen All and bring that into session. And I am not using most of these, so I'm going to ungroup them. I'm going to get rid of this one entirely. I'm going to ungroup these guys and get rid of this one, ungroup this guy, and get rid of this one. I'm going to take this one and go ahead and make a duplicate because I have 2 snowflakes. And then once again, you're just going to play with the sizing until you find something you like. Now I want this snowflake to go down here and wrap around my project. So I'm going to go ahead and shrink that down, and it's going to go basically right here and wrap around the project. So that looks pretty good, and then this part obviously will wrap around the block. So now we know what our design looks like. We need to go ahead and print off these letters. So starting with my pink, I'm going to go ahead and move these onto my cutting mat. So Sometimes, Sister, and a Princess. And we're going to go ahead and go into our cut settings. And it looks great. So it's going to cut just around here, which is the red here, which is, since we didn't draw any lines on this, the system knows to just cut around that. And we're going to go ahead and it's already on vinyl. So we can go ahead and cut this. Once again, we have a 2 blade and a 1 speed. Once we've cut that, we're going to go ahead and do the same thing for the blue. So we can move these guys out of the way. And then bring Being A is even better than Being. And once again, just send it to your silhouette. All of your cut lines are already there. We're going to go to vinyl, 2-inch blade, and 1 speed. Okay. Once that is done, the last thing is our snowflakes. So bring your snowflakes onto your mat, which are going to be kind of hard to see, but that's okay. We can go into the cut settings. Let me go ahead and draw a box around my snowflakes so you guys can see it. Alright, so then you're going to go in here and then you're just going to select that we are cutting around the snowflakes, which are right here and here. Change it to vinyl. It is a blade depth 2, speed 1, and go ahead and cut those out. Alright, so we have all of our pieces now cut out. Let's go ahead and start putting this project together. Just a note, guys, the easiest way to learn the new version of software is to go in and play with it. I will be doing a comparison video very soon showing the differences in the software. I will say in the beginning I wasn't wild about it, but the more I'm using it, I'm learning tricks just like I did with the earlier version of the software. So definitely keep staying tuned to my channel and I will show you the differences. All right, let's go and get all of these pieces put together. So the last thing I did is sometimes when you put the cord in these glass cubes, you see a lot of the cord, and I wanted to minimize that. So what I did is I took some bubble tape, just some regular old packaging bubble tape, and one side has the bubbles, one side is nice and flat, and I cut it down to about 8 by 8, just using this here. And then on the flat side, non-bubble side, I'm going to take my ATG gun and go along the edges all the way around, and then I'm going to fold it like so to where the tape is on the outside. You're going to put it into the bottom of the cube, and then using either forceps or a ruler or something, you're going to push down all the sides and all 4 corners. And that will put a nice adhesive all the way around, and it takes a little bit of maneuvering on your part to get it in there. But once you do that, you can go ahead and put your lights in. Once again, using the forceps, you can, or a ruler, you can move the lights around to make sure all areas are nice and done. And then when you're all done, you put it into the stand, and we're going to go ahead and turn on the light here. And there it is, lit up. So we have a nice frozen sister block. Sometimes being a sister is even better than being a princess. So let me go and turn off the lights, and there it is, lit up in the dark. Now, obviously, in the dark, unless you're here in person, it is kind of hard to see just because of all of the, it's just, the light doesn't really come through the square one that well, but turned out pretty good. Alright, everyone. So thanks for stopping by the blog and taking a look at it. You can find these designs over at scrappydoo.com. So that's shop, shop.scrappydoo.com. I'll have the link down in the description. Make sure you are following my blog at www.creativeken.blogspot.com. And you can get this Square One material at www.squareonemasterpiece.com. If you haven't checked out my other YouTube videos, make sure to go ahead and check those out and subscribe and follow, like, and comment on my page. Alright everyone, thanks for taking a look at today's project. Come back very soon for more projects and videos. Thanks everyone.